Welcome back to the EJ Sports Podcast. It is your host, EG, I'm here with my boy, Jay. And today we're actually going to be talking about a topic that we really are interested in, especially because of the start of the new season. When it comes to the top 5 leagues, in my opinion, I feel like it's unanimous, the top 5 leagues. We're looking at the Premier League. We're looking at La Liga. We're looking at the Bundesliga. We're looking at Serie A. And we're looking at Ligue 1. Do you think, out of those 5 leagues, is there anybody in Europe or anywhere in the world that could compete with those 5 to be the top 5 leagues?
No, there's no other league in the world that could compete with those 5.
You don't think like maybe the Liga Portuguesa with Portugal, maybe the Eredivisie in Holland? You could probably think of the Liga Brasileira in Brazil, maybe the Liga Argentina, maybe Liga MX, MLS. Like, do you think any of these leagues, as much obscure as you can say they are compared to La Liga or compared to the Premier League, do you think any of them have a chance either right now or in the future?
Okay, now everything changes. Maybe the Dutch league could compete with the French. Because right now at the moment, it's only basically a one team league, basically PSG. Sometimes you could get other teams that could win, but in the past 15 years around there, it's just been PSG as champ.
Mostly PSG, yeah.
Yeah, and at least in the Dutch league, there's PSV, there's Ajax, there's AZ Alkmaar, and there's several other teams that could
Feyenoord.
that they could compete for the championship. But I think that's the only league that could compete for the top 5.
And I agree. And again, guys, this is no knock to any other league out there. Obviously, every league has their own chance, opportunity. They have their own playing style. Like, it's true that the Premier League is pretty high-paced offense. Serie A is very heavily slower pace. Defensive heavy, of course. The Bundesliga is a mixture of both. A big midfield maestro would be considered in the Bundesliga department when it comes to how they play. And you could say La Liga is more of a high-paced offense, but they're also creativity. A lot of passes, a lot of possession. And I agree. And to segue to the topic, we've already agreed the top 5 leagues would be the Premier League, La Liga, Serie A, Bundesliga, and Ligue 1. Who do you think is number 1? Out of those top 5, who do you think... Oh, let's put it this way. We'll revert that. We'll leave number 1 towards the end. Who do you think is the 5th? Who do you think is number 5 of the top 5 leagues?
Ligue 1.
Do you think there's any other competition outside of Ligue 1?
To be in the top 5? Or how?
Who isn't 5th? So do you think, in my opinion, I think the Bundesliga is number 4. Now, I don't know what you think about that, but in my opinion, the Bundesliga number 4. And the way that it was going, especially with that dominance of Bayern, I feel like, in a way, before the competition started coming in of the Bayer Leverkusen, last year or year back, and 2 years back, when we're talking about Dortmund when it came to the little stretch with Jurgen Klopp, when we talk about the RB Leipzig and the new pump of money when it comes to Red Bull, do you think that with Bayern still being this dominant, still be able to get players, like, just to put an example, Leverkusen was still competing last year. They just lost their best center back. Jonathan Tah is now a Bayern Munich player. With Bayern still having that influence, do you think the Bundesliga could now become number 5 and Ligue 1 could jump? Or even Ligue 1 could get out of it and maybe another team comes in?
No. The French league will always be number 5 until there's one team that could actually compete with PSG at least for a few years.
Okay.
And yeah, they will always be number 5.
No, I see the point, and I just wanted to make sure to bring up that topic because I've heard a lot of people say that the Bundesliga is going to that point. They're becoming a farmers' league. They're getting there, but I feel like when it comes to Ligue 1, there's nothing against the French. There's nothing against Ligue 1. It's just the issue is that when it comes to Ligue 1, PSG is so dominant that I'm looking at last year. and I'm looking at last year, and I'm looking at how they play. PSG had 84 points. Can you guess what number 2 Marseille had?
Probably like around 62 points.
You're so close. 65.
Ah.
That is nearly a 20-point gap. That's a 19-point gap. That is too big for a league that's trying to be competitive. And at that point, you have Marseille. Monaco was in third with 61. You had Nice in fourth place with 60. Like, these teams are nowhere near PSG. And that's the reason why I feel like PSG needs to be fifth. Do you agree with me that the Bundesliga is fourth, or do you have another league going at fourth?
In the past like 5 years, I had Bundesliga as third just because the Serie A was basically a Juventus league.
I agree.
And at least in the Bundesliga, there was a lot of teams that were competitive, trying to fight for that championship until probably the last 6 games. That's where they started falling off a little bit, and Bayern started winning more games. And also, the regulation is more competitive in Bundesliga than Serie A. But now, I feel like Serie A is probably they're getting more players that are like top leagues, like A+ quality players that now Juventus, Inter Milan, AC Milan, Napoli, Lazio, and so on, Atalanta, they're fighting for that championship now. And that's why now I put the German league as fourth.
No, I 100% agree. And like I said, when the whole idea of Bayern being the new PSG, Bayern dominating, and you said like Juventus, the thing is though, when it comes to, I don't want to say the bottom 3, but these bottom 3 leagues, they've gone through periods or in a period where a team is being dominant the whole entire time. And the reason why I say that is because last year, Bayern Munich finished first. They got 82 points. Bayern Leverkusen got 69 points. And in third place, Frankfurt got 60. It's nearly a rinse and repeat of Ligue 1 last year. And I feel like that is a big issue when it comes to how competitive the league is. Because at this point, in my brain, I feel like Bayern already won the league. Especially of all the things that Bayern Leverkusen lost. They lost Jonathan Tah. They lost their manager, Xavi Alonso. They lost Florian Wirtz. You know, there's a whole topic or a whole issue of Victor Boniface, their striker, and his knee problems, and whether or not he's either going to stay fit or whether or not he's going to be the same striker he was before. And then we're looking at Dortmund, in my opinion, has been inconsistent. You know, as much as or as good as they are, I feel like their inconsistency has always failed them when it comes to the league recently. And when it comes to Frankfurt, they lost their top striker, Etekite. He's now at Liverpool. Like, in my opinion, as close as it is that, you know, Ligue 1 and the Bundesliga are, you could say, in the back, in my opinion, Serie A is a clear number 3. For the simple fact that their teams aren't good enough. The league isn't as good as La Liga or the Premier League. But also, the top teams are all fighting each other. They all feel like they have a fighting chance. And I feel like it's something that you can't say with the Liga and you can't say with the German Bundesliga. That all 3, or you could say the top 3, the Champions League spots, the ones who are fighting for first place, getting that title, aren't really competitive. There's a clear number 1 and everyone else is fighting for 2 and 3. If you think about it, and I'm going to put it in context here, I have Serie A in third, and I'm pretty sure you agree that Serie A is number 3. Do you agree with that?
Right now, yes, number 3. Just because how I said, now there's more teams that are competitive, and they will fight for that spot all the way to the end. It's not like the Ligue 1 or the Bundesliga that in the last 6 games you already know who's champion.
No, and I 100% agree. When it comes to that whole point, the reason why I keep saying this is just last year, Napoli finished with 82, Inter Milan finished with 81. That's a clear competitive back and forth, fight. Atalanta wasn't too far behind with 74. And then you had the whole idea of battling for Champions League, fighting for these European spots. Atalanta had 74. Juve had 70. Roma in 5th had 69. And Fiorentina, Lazio, both fighting for spots. Lazio actually lost the European spot because they had the same points as Fiorentina, but the goal difference of Fiorentina had them get that spot. And then you had AC Milan, the historic AC Milan, in 8th with 63, but losing the final to Bologna, which is down in 9th with 62, and they actually got a European spot. So that's pretty interesting that the Serie A became so competitive, especially after the Juve dominance era. And that's what I feel like these other leagues, Bundesliga and Liga 1, I feel like this is the period that they need to get to, if you know what I mean. They need to get to the point to where the dominant team can no longer reclaim its dominance, but it becomes more competitive to where teams like Napoli, Inter, and like in my opinion, Atalanta, a team that you wouldn't think of 10, 20 years ago during the dominance of AC and Juve, you wouldn't think of Atalanta as the team that could be fighting for those teams. You would think them as the lower part of those teams. So I feel like it's very competitive when it comes to Serie A and how they've actually been able to make a league that is both enjoyable to watch, but also, you could say, represent the game at one of its core values when it comes to defending. The idea of hard-nosed defending, always making sure the right pass is there. You could say that's almost like an Italian style when it comes to that. And I feel like that's a big thing. But now this is the bigger debate. Now I want you to first give your opinion before I give mine. Who do you think is number one? Do you think it's
the Premier League?
You're going with the Premier League.
Yeah.
Now, I have a question though, and this is my thing here. You have the two biggest clubs in history, and basically in Spain.
Yeah, that is true.
You have Real Madrid, you have Barcelona. Atletico Madrid isn't too far behind. Now, as much as the Premier League has the most money, they have the most money of all these leagues.
The most talent.
You could say the most talent. Now, who would you back up more? Would you back up a Man City led by Pep? Would you back up a Liverpool led by Arne Slot? Would you back up a Arsenal led by Arteta? Or would you back up a Xabi Alonso led Real Madrid? Or a Hansi Flick Barcelona?
Oh, that's a very good.
And this is before me talking about El Cholo Simeone with
Atletico.
Atleti, Ernesto Valverde with Athletic Bilbao. Like this when I'd say that this, as much as we want to say that Premier League's number one, and you know, I always have this debate, and I'm playing devil's advocate here. I also believe the Premier League is number one, but I feel like people just automatically throw that out there that the Premier League is number one. But when we're looking at the top teams, you could say La Liga just has it. As much competitive as it is in the Premier League, when you think of the top six teams, Manchester United became 16th last year. Tottenham was 17th. That was the Europa League final battling against each other. And if it wasn't for in my opinion, a very dumb red card that they gave to Vivian, Athletic Bilbao versus Manchester United. As much as I like Manchester United in the Premier League, it was a pretty dumb foul. I don't think it should have been a red. That swayed the whole thing. In my opinion, Athletic Bilbao should have won the Europa League. They had a chance to beat Tottenham. Without that, losing their best center back, I feel like they could have beaten Manchester United. But who do you think, when it comes to the top teams, who would you take? Would you take the La Liga teams or would you take the Premier League teams?
This one's now complicated, but I will take Premier League.
In my opinion,
That's number one.
I agree. The Premier League is number one as an overall league. Like, as much as, you know, I've seen people out there dismiss Burnley, dismiss Sunderland, dismiss Leeds, these new teams coming up, as much talent as Brentford, as Bournemouth, as these teams have lost to the big teams, especially Bournemouth. They lost their left back to Liverpool, Kirkes. They left Huijsen to Real Madrid. They lost their other center back, I believe from Ukraine, to PSG. Like, Bournemouth lost a lot. And they even lost their goalkeeper, Kepa. He's now a backup at Arsenal. And for me, as much talent overall the Premier League has, in my opinion, the top teams will always be in La Liga because their style makes it the top team. But we agreed. We got our top 5. Premier League number 1. That's a recap. La Liga number 2. We have the Serie A as number 3. The Bundesliga is number 4. Liga is number 5. Now that we've established this top 5 leagues, I want to transition over. I want to go to who do you think is going to get relegated, and who do you think is going to be at the top 5, and who do you think is going to be the champions. Now we're going to start from the bottom. We're going to start with Liga 1. Now, who do you think is going to get relegated?
All right. The 3 teams that they could be easily regulated for me. Well, in the French league, there's 2 that goes directly to the second division, and then there's another one that goes to regulation qualification. Then they face the third place of League 2. But I feel like the first 2 will be Metz and Le Havre. And Angers will be in 16th, fighting for that spot for them to stay. And for me, the champ will be again PSG.
I 100% agree. I feel like Metz and Le Havre will be the 2 going down. And I feel like as much as Angers, in my opinion, I have no confidence in them, even staying up. I feel like a big team that I don't know how they're going to play is Paris FC. As much as, PSG, Paris Saint-Germain, as much as they're dominant, I've seen a lot of people hype up Paris FC. Apparently, they're very out there. They're pretty good. They have a good style. But in my opinion, I feel like it's going to be a bunch of hype, and I don't feel like they're going to live up to it. So in my opinion, I have Paris FC having or being inside that relegation qualification. But I feel like they will stay up, but through a miracle. I don't think they will actually, be dominant. I feel like it'll be a miracle. They'll stay up. They'll be in that qualification. But I feel like also they probably would just be there just because Liga 1 isn't really that good. And as champions, as much as I like Lyon, as much as I like Marseille, my opinion, PSG will still be champions. And I feel like that is just something that, sadly, no other team has given me the confidence to back them up. As much as I like Marseille, the renaissance of Aubameyang coming up, I feel like it's going to be a big thing. Lyon going through their legal troubles, I don't know how much that's going to translate to them in the league. And I just feel like PSG will just be there. Now, going to the Bundesliga. Same thing, they have qualification at 16. They have 17 and 18th, going down. I will start it off. My opinion, who's going down first is going to be Heidenheim, FC Heidenheim. I feel like they're going to be a big one going down. I feel like St. Pauli will be another one. And I want to back up Hamburg. I feel like Hamburg, I really want to back them up. And I feel like, in a way, there's no basis of me backing them up. There's no basis of me backing them up, but I feel like that I have to. And in doing so, that leaves me with the idea of who I think is going to be in qualification. I'm going to give it to Hoffenheim. So I feel like my top, you could say bottom down, one is going to be St. Pauli. The other one's going to be Heidenheim. I feel like they screamed by it. They scraped their way through qualification. And I feel like the team who's actually going to be in qualification is going to be Hoffenheim. Now, who do you think is going to be your bottom 3? And then champions. Oh, champions, obviously, I'm not even going to look at it. It's going to be Bayern Munich.
I agree with the champion. I'm going for Bayern. And last three, I will say also FC. How you say that team?
Heidenheim.
Heidenheim. I will say probably. I will go for Mainz.
Mainz.
And to the regulation qualification, it will be St. Pauli.
Same. Okay. So, again, it's very similar. In my opinion, it's much more difficult when it comes to the Bundesliga. These teams do have more fairy tales when it comes to them staying up. And I agree, it's very different. But I feel like Heidenheim, the way they played last year, aren't going to be as good as this year. I want to give the benefit of the doubt of Hamburg. Just having that history, I want to give them the benefit of the doubt. And these other teams, they don't really bring much inspiration. And Bayern, obviously, in my opinion, will be top champs. Now, the Serie A. This is difficult, in my opinion. Do you want to start off? Or do you want me to start off?
I will start off.
All right.
I will say, for me, the three teams that are going to be regulated, it's going to be absolute carnage. It's going to be Sassuolo again. I don't have faith with Pisa, or how you say it?
Yeah, Pisa. I don't have faith with them either. Yeah.
And I'm sorry, but I will say Parma.
Ooh. Now,
Sorry for the Parma folks.
for me, Parma, in my opinion, they're like Palermo. They're a team that I feel like should be in the first. And I feel like they have like that history. They should be in the first. But also, I see with Parma. Now, who do you think is going to be champions? In my opinion, that's the hardest one. Champion.
Okay, the champions, there's a Napoli, there's a Fiorentina, there's a Roma, there's Atalanta, there's Inter, there's Juve, there's Milan, there's also Lazio. I could put in also Roma if I said it. I don't know if I said Roma. Champion, I will put... This one's a risky one. Atalanta.
Atalanta.
Yeah, it's a risky one, but I will say Atalanta.
Now, with the possibility of Adamela Lookman leaving, are you saying this Atalanta with Lookman or without Lookman?
Without.
Without Lookman, still champion.
Yeah.
You know what? As much as I'm not going to back that up, because I feel like Atalanta, or you could say they're in a point in their, when it comes to their career inside the league, they're at the point where they're going to continue progressing because they have the academy, they have the scouting in order to keep progressing, or it could all crumble down. And I feel like Atlanta's at that point where they're you could say the 49ers, where they're making these playoffs, they're making these deep runs in the league, but they're not winning the big one. And I feel like you backing them up, I like that. Now, for me, I feel like it's pretty easy when it comes to who's going down. Lecce, I feel like that's one. I'm not backing them up. In my opinion, they scraped it last season. Pisa's number 2. I'm not backing up either. And I'm going to go with, I feel like, Sassuolo. I feel like those are the three. I'm going to back up Parma. As much as Cremonese, I'm backing them up as well. I feel like they're going to have a good season. And the rest of the teams, I feel like they're going to have a good season. And I feel like that's going to be it. And when it comes to champions, as much as I like AC Milan, I don't think they have the squad to be champions. It's such a weird time. I want to back up Santi Jimenez, but there's talks that he's actually going to be leaving. And I don't know how much Rafael Leao with, you could say, Pulisic. As much as I don't know how much I want to back up the duo. They didn't do that well last season. I don't know what sort of thing they have. I like Mike Mignon. They lost Theo Hernandez. They still have Fakeo Tomori. They have Benacer still there kicking about. I don't know. I don't really trust their offense. Their offense is really much just Leao with Pulisic just living life and hoping Santi Jimenez, breaks through that mold, becomes that top striker that he should be. And I don't have confidence in 39-year-old Luka Modric. I just don't have confidence there. So I'm going to put them away. Atalanta, like I said, I don't think they're at that point. They're pretty much going their way down, not their way up, in my opinion. Roma's in the same thing. Fiorentina's in the same thing. In my opinion, there's a top three. There's Inter Milan, Juventus, and Napoli. And I feel like I want to back up Inter Milan. For the reason I want to back up Inter Milan, because I feel like they're going to have a chip on their shoulder of not winning it last year and not winning the Champions League. I feel like they're going to go full force, attack it. I don't trust as much Napoli for the simple fact that they're refusing to either sell Victor Osimhen, or I don't know what's going on with the Victor Osimhen situation. Lukaku got a big injury. I don't know if he saw it. I believe it was like 2 weeks ago during preseason. He had a huge injury where he kicked the ball and it looked like he tore a muscle. And in my opinion, losing Lukaku, one of your top strikers, is a big miss. So in losing Lukaku, I don't trust Napoli anymore. They don't have their striker. I don't know how much Kevin De Bruyne is going to be a teetering point. He's at that age where I don't know if he's going to be a super success. Because I feel like he's going to be a success. But I don't know how much success he's going to have, Kevin De Bruyne. So, and Juventus is still unproven to me. As much as I like Yildiz, I feel like they still have good young talent. I'm going to back up Inter Milan. So in my opinion, Inter Milan will be champions. I feel like they're going to have that chip on their shoulder and they want to actually exceed. Now, next, I'm going first when it comes to La Liga. Now, when it comes to La Liga, in my opinion, it's a pretty easy who's going down. I'm going to say Elche is going down. I feel like there's no big surprise on that. I'm going with Real Oviedo. As much as hype you could say in Mexico, Real Oviedo have for the simple fact that they're part of Grupo Pachuca. I'm going to say them. And then, as much as I want to back it up, I'm going to say Levante. I feel like Levante is going to go down too. And as champions, as a Barcelona fan, I'm never going to not back up Barcelona. I don't care you have Trent Alexander-Arnold. I don't care that Kylian Mbappe might proceed. I don't care. I feel like you're going to lose Rodrigo either way. I am backing up Lamine Yamal. I'm backing up Hansi Flick. I'm backing up Robert Lewandowski. I'm going to say Barcelona as champions, and this time we're going for the treble. We're going for the treble, Barcelona. I'm passing up to you, Jay.
All right, for champions, Barcelona has it, but I will go with Atletico Madrid.
Ooh. All right, I see you. You backing up Cholo Simeone?
Yeah, and for regulation, I will go for number 1, Levante. I agree. Mm-hmm. It's just not going.
Really?
They're staying. I'll go with Rayo Vallecano.
Oh, Rayo.
And the last one, I will go for Girona.
Girona?
Mm-hmm.
You don't think that they still have the momentum?
No.
From last year?
Nope. They don't have that momentum anymore. And I don't think the Manchester City group will give them a lot of money.
Now I have a question. Valencia were really awful last year.
They're fine this year.
You're going to back up Valencia this year? In my opinion, Valencia...
And Sevilla did awful lot also last year, but they're also going to be fighting for that Champions League or Europa League spots. No.
That's the one thing I don't agree with. I don't think Almeida, with this current Sevilla squad, is going up there for Champions League. So I feel like when you think of Champions League, I have Barcelona, I have Real Madrid, and Atletico Madrid. You're down to one spot. You have Athletic Bilbao. You have Real Betis. You have, in my opinion, Villarreal, they're still up there. So you're telling me that Sevilla and Valencia are going to be up there?
Sevilla is going to be Champions League and Valencia Europa League.
Whew. So where do you have Real Sociedad?
They will be in.
Mid-table?
They will miss this year.
So, in putting in Sevilla in Champions League and putting in Valencia and Europa League, you said you have Barcelona as champions. Oh no, you have Atleti as champions. So, do you have Real Madrid and Barcelona as the 2 and 3?
I have Barca second, Real Madrid third.
So, in doing that, you don't have Betis, you don't have Atleti.
Nope.
You don't have Sociedad.
Nope.
In my opinion, this is going to be a great season. The way that you're describing this season, it sounds like they're going to be a top one. A top one league. If you're telling me that Valencia and Sevilla are coming up from the depths.
I don't know. I have confidence on those two teams.
I like your confidence. I'm not going to lie. I like your confidence. Now, to the big one. The number one league, according to us. The Premier League. Now, do you want to start off or want me to start off?
I will start off. Champion will be. This one's going to be. It's not going to be Liverpool.
Ooh. Okay.
It's not going to be Chelsea.
Okay.
It's not Man City.
Oh, no.
Or United.
Oh,
it's going to be against Tottenham or Arsenal. Champion, Arsenal.
Just as an FYI, guys, Jay is an Arsenal fan.
In regulation, that one's going to be a good one. I will go for Wolves as number 20.
I don't like that. It's not bad.
I will go for Brighton, 19.
Oh, that's bad.
And I don't know, for number 18, that one's going to be between... I don't know. Leeds, Burnley, or Sunderland?
Yeah. You have to pick.
Yeah. I will go for Burnley.
You think Burnley is going to be 18 above Brighton and Wolves?
Yes.
I 100% disagree. In my opinion, ain't no way, and I'm saying this with the bottom of my heart, ain't no way Brighton is finishing below Burnley.
They will.
In my opinion, Burnley is guaranteed 20th. Last place. For the simple fact that their team is defensive heavily, very defensive heavy, but they have Scott Parker as their coach. And in my opinion, Burnley aren't the best defensively, at least not in Premier League standards. They lost their goalkeeper, James Trafford. And I feel like that's a big miss. They haven't really replaced him. So 20th is Burnley. Now, in 19th, I have Leeds. For the simple fact that I don't have as much confidence in Leeds. I don't know about Leeds. It's as much as I want to give confidence to Leeds, I don't know. I feel like they're 19th. I feel like they're going to be there. Now, 18th, in my opinion, it's going to be Brentford. If Wisa leaves. If Wisa leaves or Vissa, if he leaves, in my opinion, Brentford are guaranteed relegation. They're guaranteed going down because they lost Mbuemo. They lost their coach. They lost their captain, Norgard. Now they're going to lose their striker. If Wisa leaves, Brentford 19. If Wisa does not leave, I have Wolves as 18. Meaning Sunderland, I'm giving the full confidence to Sunderland. Sunderland will stay up. Now, another one, because we're doing this on the 24th of August, there is currently a situation with West Ham. They are pony. They suck. They lost to Sunderland. They lost to Chelsea. They have no confidence. Again, Edson Alvarez left. You know, as much as you could say West Ham fans never rated him, in my opinion, he's somebody you guys need, especially if you're doing a defensive block. You need someone like Edson Alvarez, someone you go play center back, someone go play center defensive mid, but you let him go to the Turkish league. I believe to Fenerbahce. I feel like that's where he went. But in a way, West Ham will also be fighting to get relegated. And for champions, I cannot back Arsenal. I want to. And again, this is nothing against Arsenal. It's just some of their fans online. They have too much confidence. For some reason, they have this sort of, I am the best, we are the best, even though you haven't won the league since the early 2000s. You know, again, your last time you won a league, you had Serie on your team, man. Ain't no way. I don't know. I don't back this team up. I don't know. I don't think they have what it takes. I feel like I'm backing up Liverpool for the simple fact that, in my opinion, they're going to get Isak. Now, without Isak, I have less confidence. But with Isak and Etekite on their team, in my opinion, Liverpool will be champions. Now, we're coming towards the end of the pod here. We're going to do a little recap to what's going on. Now, as a future prediction, who do you think, as a team itself, who do you think is going to win the Champions League? Because I feel like we've gone through these top 5 leagues. We have to give our Champions League vote. Now, Jay, with everything that's going on, you backing up Arsenal, you backing up Atleti, do you think one of those teams will be Champions League winners, or do you think somebody else will be a Champions League winner?
Someone else.
Who do you have as Champions League winner?
Barcelona.
So you think Barcelona is going to focus on the Champions League and not on the league? Or do you think they're just not going to be able to handle it?
They're just going to concentrate more on Champions League. They're not going to handle all 3, La Liga, Copa del Rey, and Champions.
Guys, like I said, I'm backing up Barcelona to win the treble. So obviously, I have Barcelona as Champions League winners. Now, guys, thank you so much for listening to our podcast. It is a longer episode than before. Obviously, we wanted to sort of put our opinions out there. Who do we think are the top 5 leagues? Who do we think who are going to be champions? Who are going to get relegated? Obviously, halfway through the season, we're going to have another podcast episode recapping, who we think we have. Who do you think we're going to get relegated at that point? Who do you think we're going to be champions? I want you guys to follow us. Currently, I'm in the process of making an Instagram video. If you're listening to us on Spotify, we have a YouTube channel. We're going to be posting more tier list videos, a little more reactions, things to that nature. And obviously, if you're listening to this on YouTube, subscribe, give us a comment. Obviously, want to hear your opinions. When it comes to listen to the pod as well on Spotify. We're trying to get to Apple Music as well. We're trying to get to everywhere. Please, guys, subscribe, follow us, like everything. And, of course, give us your opinions. Thank you so much, guys. See ya.